Feeling so good from the inside out, better than your morning would feel without. Stretching our self-awareness like a muscle every morning to feel so great, to feel so good objectively. How's it even possible to feel good objectively? With the help of your Only No Nonsense podcast, brought to you through the Best Feeling Network, and the help of your host, Herbie, and your own body from the inside out. As we are not doing nothing really, but just shifting our self-awareness around. Like, are you remembering today in your self-awareness that the back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Say it with me. Up and down, up and down. Even if it's just in your head. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And remember that the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, just like every human being. Just like every human being, the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Wherever you are, whenever thou art, whether you are pushing a shopping cart, whether you're walking with your legs, or whether you are sitting down, not on your legs, as you should never be, as we know that we do not sit on our legs. Wherever you are, remembering that the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And how does that feel for you? Welcome back to another Freedom Friday. It is September 24, 2021. Friday. It's another Freedom Friday. Today's topic, we talk about strength. What is strength? What is strength? What exactly is strength? How do we get more of it? How do we define what it isn't so that we don't believe we are getting more and actually gaslight ourselves? On Freedom Friday, we set ourselves free a little bit with some concepts on Freedom Friday. Are you remembering that the back 1/3 of your tongue wants to be vertical, up and down, up and down, up and down? And how does that feel for you? To think about how the back 1/3 of your tongue, say it with me, wants to be, no, don't say that. The back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Say it with me, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. One more time. The back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Say it with me, up and down, even if it's just in your head. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I want to thank you, whether you are joining us from Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Twitch, D-Live, YouTube, Instagrams again, anywhere you came from, whether you are here visiting now or you are there in a VOD in the future, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here. I hope you're going to have a fantastic day. I hope you've been having a fantastic day today. Thank you for allowing us into your awareness today, as that is the most that we can ask for. In our NASA shirt, as we set ourselves free today. Thank you so much for allowing us into your awareness for the next hour or so, as we talk about strength on Freedom Friday. How to get more freedom on Freedom Friday, as we always are. Let's feel the front of our shins. Remember the back 1/3 of our tongue is vertical. Up and down, up and down. Remember that the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And we'll be right back here on Padawan. Have you ever wondered what the heck strength really was? Have you ever looked inside and wondered? Welcome back, welcome back. Have a seat. Wherever you are, whenever thou art, have a seat, please. Remember that you do not sit on your legs, and remember that the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front and not the back. As we are breaking down misconceptions day by day, here on Padawan of the self that society has placed into the self by the self. How did society place misconceptions into ourselves by the self? By making us not believe into our awareness that the weight-bearing portion of the spine was the front, as well as many other misconceptions in our bodies, such as the back 1/3 of our tongue not being vertical, or the tip of our tongue not wanting to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, but in fact they do. The back 1/3 of the tongue is in fact vertical, and the tip of your tongue does in fact want to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, but don't just take my word for it. How does that feel for you today? How does that feel for you today? To remember that the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. The tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, and the back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical. How does that feel for you? Don't just take my word for it, but how does it feel for you? If you would, in your head. If you would, in your head even. Better out loud, but even if in your head, just say it with me. The tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. One more time. The tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And how does that feel for you? As we are calibrating ourselves to hold our controllers similarly and properly today, how do we do that? By remembering the formation of our tongues, the shape, size, and function of our tongue? True. How else do we hold our controller properly and together, like in our simulation that we live in which we die every 5 minutes, but that timer is reset with every breath that we take? In this simulation that we live in, guys, if this is truly a simulation, or if it's real life, when we are holding the controller properly, we are not just remembering the shape, size, and function of our tongue, but we are also remembering to pretend that there's a candle in front of every human being's lips that they're trying to not put out. And it is just flickering there. They're not thinking about exhaling or inhaling as they are walking, as they are jogging, as they are swimming, as they are speaking to you, as they are receiving love from you, as they are giving love to you. There is always a candle in front of every human being's lips now, in your awareness. That in that individual's awareness, they are also trying to not put this candle out that exists in front of their lips. And they're not thinking about inhaling. They're not thinking about exhaling to do this, to make this happen. They're simply putting into their awareness a candle. A lit candle. A flickering candle slightly in front of someone's lips. That they are not trying to not put out. Or rather, they are trying to not put out. And as you place that into your awareness, roll into your awareness the shape, size, and function of the tongue, in that the tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And the back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Say it with me even if it's just in your head. Out loud is even better, but maybe you're still in bed, so maybe there, just say it in your head. The back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Say it with me. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The back 1/3 of your tongue indeed wants to be vertical. Say it with me. Up and down, up and down, up and down. One more time. The back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Just say it with me. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Good morning. How does that feel for you? As we are always remembering that everyone in their awareness is having a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out, whether you are there at a coffee shop, whether you are there hanging with mom and pops, whether you are there running from the cops. I want you to pretend that there is a lit candle in front of every human being's lips as we are holding our controller properly today, that each individual is trying to not put out. And remembering the shape, size, and function of your tongue, which is that the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And the back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. Strength. How art thou? Are you ready for another Freedom Friday? Are you ready to place into your awareness more candles in everybody's lips? And are you remembering to feel the front of your shins? And remember, do not take my word for it, but rather allow these words to go into one ear and out the other and see how they feel for you. Of course, at the end of the day, feeling so good from the inside out in every single way. As we one more time, last time, pretending there is a candle in front of thy lips that you are trying to not put out, just like every human being in their design, as we become aware of today. Every human being in their mind's eye, or whatever, if you are a Scott Pilgrim fan, has a lit candle just flickering in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. They're not thinking about exhaling. They're not thinking about inhaling. Simply just trying to not put it out. The awareness of trying to not put it out. As we branch forward into the next phase of this show to talk about strength. Remembering to leave those swallow muscles alone. Every human being with a candle, trying to not put it out. Not thinking about inhaling, not thinking about exhaling. Just a candle in front of everyone's lips that they're trying to not put out. The back 1/3 of our tongues, everyone on planet Earth. The back 1/3 of everyone's tongues is vertical, no matter who you're thinking about. Maybe you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Maybe you are looking at a loved one. Maybe you are thinking about a boss. Maybe you are thinking about the clerk, the store clerk. Everyone with a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And the back 1/3 of everyone's tongues being vertical. And the tip of everyone's tongues being wanting to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth today. What the hell is strength today? What is strength today? What is strength? Freedom Friday. How can you feel free ever? How can you feel free ever when we are human beings constantly being led into any which direction due to different needs constantly asking for our attention? Constantly demanding your attention in a way that seems almost involuntary, seems almost unsurmountable, as we are taken here, this way, that way by needs. So much so that we end up attributing these needs to something like corporations, feeling victimized by corporations as they seem to abuse these needs in which we seem to have no strength over. These needs in which we seem to have no strength over, no strength. What the hell is strength? We go to the gym as you are allowing us to weave and dip and dive into your awareness of this orchestra that is all around you. Please never to get lost into this voice directly, but allow all of these words to go in one ear and out the other. As you honor us with the presence and your awareness right now into the orchestra that is your life surrounding you right now. Always staying in that wonderful window to this godlike experience in which you are, which is that body of yours that comes stock, full packed with a ability to flush away all inner suffering possible. Who cares about inner suffering? You care about inner suffering. Every time you are disappointed, and now your body does not want to do the things that you know that you normally want to do, you care about your inner suffering. Every time you get heartbroken and watch the days pass by in which you could be working on something but you just can't seem to muster the energy, you care about internal suffering. Every time you get a ticket because you could not keep your cool and you could not make it to work in time, so you ended up speeding on the road and maybe said something awful to the officer. You care about internal suffering. And so you can release yourself from internal suffering. And watch yourself become free on Freedom Friday. How do we release ourselves from internal suffering if we have no clue what the heck is even coming towards us? How do we be sure, as we know that it is not necessarily the strength to deal with certain things, but rather the confidence that we have that we can get the strength? As we don't know how much strength we will need for anything at one time, do we not? How much internal strength will it need to take on the next day? You have no clue, as you don't know what the day will hold. How do we make sure that we can continue thriving in this world when we do not know if we have the strength to handle what is coming next? In our world today, too scared to actually develop a sense of self, to develop a relationship with the self, for we had no language. We had no bearings to look at the self. We thought the idea to handle all scary things was to find an ideal amount of strength, a precise amount of strength. But as we come to realize, we have no clue what is beyond, we have no clue even what is in our knowledge, so looking for a precise amount of strength, while seeming like a good use of our time, ends up coming second to rather a relationship with the ability to have strength. Do we know how much strength we will need for any coming hardship, suffering that might come our way, as they will be coming in the coming days? Do we know how much strength we'll need? No. But do we know that we have a relationship with strength? Yes, of course, we have a relationship with strength. We will need strength. We need a reliable source of strength. Maybe we do not know a precise amount of strength, but we know that we need a reliable source of strength to feel confident to continue moving forward. Why? Because we do not know how much strength we will need, but we know that we will need it, and we will need a reliable source of it, so that we can continue to draw upon it. What is this strength? If you would please pretend with me that there is a candle in front of everybody's lips that they are trying to not put out. And it's just flickering there. They're not thinking about exhaling. They're not thinking about inhaling. They're just thinking about a candle in front of their lips that they are trying to not put out. They're not thinking about exhaling. They're not thinking about inhaling. As they are remembering that the tip of their tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And they're not thinking about exhaling. They're not thinking about inhaling. And the back 1/3 of their tongue wants to be vertical, up and down, up and down. Say it with me, even if it's just in your head. Up and down, up and down. Up and down, up and down. One more time. Up and down, up and down. Back 1/3 of your tongue wants to be vertical. Up and down, up and down. What is strength? Well, what holds you down? Are humans naturally just these floating orbs not held down by anything? Or are we rather these beings that are constantly being held down by things, by needs? Whether they be romantic needs, whether they be food needs, whether they be sleeping needs, whether they be breathing needs, whether they be companionship needs, love needs, shelter needs, water needs, relationship needs, constantly be pulled into different directions. What is strength? Well, what is holding you down? And what is your ability to get rid of what is holding you down? Let's please pretend that there's a candle in front of everybody's lips that we're all trying to not put out. Let's remember that the back 1/3 of our tongue is vertical, up and down, up and down, up and down. And the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the bottom front teeth. What is strength? Well, how badly does spiritual suffering hold you down? How badly does a heartbreak hold you down? How badly does disappointment hold you down? How badly does loneliness hold you down? How badly does fear of abandonment hold you down, all at the same time? And how free do you feel if you could flush all of that out? Let's remember that the back 1/3 of our tongue is vertical. Let's remember that the strength comes from our ability to act. And let's remember that the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. How much permission does your body give you to act today on Freedom Friday? Let's pretend there's a candle in front of everybody's lips that they're trying to not put out. What the hell is strength? Well, how much does your internal suffering prevent you from outputting strength? And how good is your ability to flush out that internal suffering? We'll be right back here on Pago 1. Freedom Friday. Strength. Good morning, everyone. We are reaching the second half of the show here, so I'll try to input some stuff here. Thank you, Felipe, so far for those emotes. Everybody, I want you to remember that there is a candle in front of your lips, and so does Felipe. I want you to remember that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out, and that you want to leave your swallowing muscles alone. This is a message that he has telecommunicated into me, received through my sense of self. And remembering that the tip of all of our tongues wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth as we are stretching our self-awareness like a muscle today. Good morning! It is 6:11 a.m. wherever thou art, wherever you are, whenever thou art. Strength! Today we are here to talk about strength, wherever you are, whenever thou art. Welcome, 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 welcome back. Please take a seat, and when I say back, you know I don't mean place your weight onto the back. You know I mean to place your weight onto the front of the spine. You see how even our language is so tricky all of the times. Please welcome back. Welcome back. Have a seat, kick back. And when we say kick back, We mean kick front. As in, please say it with me, even if it's just in your head. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Thank you guys for saying it with me, even if it was just in your head. And how does that feel for you? So please, welcome back. Please have a seat. Or freaking walk around, whatever the heck you are doing around town. Remember that we are always here to stretch our self-awareness like a muscle. Are you feeling the front of thy shins today? Whatever you are doing, whether you are tapping away on the keyboard, or perhaps you are on a piano. Maybe you are taking a gulp of water. Please keep the front of your shins in awareness. Why do we say the front of their shins in awareness? Because society has placed into our awareness a bunch of misconceptions, not like it was trying to do it maliciously, but as we are trying to grow together as a society. We learn things about the body, we look at each other, and you would not be wrong, you would not be to blame to think that you do not put your weight on the back of the heel, and as such, the back of the calves. As you might notice on one of the weighting screens here on Palgo On, in which your feet are not L's, but rather arches. Arches in which the weight is placed down the center, and not L's in which the weight is placed down the back, so you would not be alone to think that you would place weight onto the back of the calves, for it seems that we construct our entire awareness of the human body that way. Look at cartoons, look at the way you draw feet, look at the way you conceive feet at one point in time if you didn't already. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me right now. I gotta go check this ish. I think the thing cut out. Shit, dog. Nope, we good. Anyway, so thinking about the way that we conceive feet, and that you would not be alone to think that we place weight onto the back of the calves. However, we're always placing weight onto the front of the shins. The weight-bearing portion of the shins are the front. The weight-bearing portion of your legs, or the bottom portion of your legs, is the front. And as we are imagining our body properly, let's make sure that the sound is working well. Let's make sure that the sound is working well. Oh, hell yeah, it is working well. As we are imagining our body properly, remembering that the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. So come back in. Thank you for coming back in for another Freedom Friday. How the heck do we be free in a world in which we have no clue what is coming up on the horizon? By analyzing the horizon and identifying what we need to handle what is over the horizon, in which something we cannot see. What the heck are you talking about? How do we prepare? How do we analyze something so that we can avoid danger by looking over at something that we cannot see? How do we achieve freedom, as we are always trying to achieve more freedom in this simulation of ours in which we die every 5 minutes, but that timer is reset with a breath that you take? How do we ensure freedom? How do we ensure our ability to be free, which means our ability to be happy, as we know? How do we ensure our ability to be free and happy when we have no clue with what we'll have to deal with over the horizon? We have no way to analyze it. We have no way to put a diagnosis. We have no way to say that there's an illness. We have no way to say there's a syndrome or things that are coming up over the horizon. How do we deal with this? How do we have enough strength? How do we know how much strength we will need? to deal with anything over the horizon which we currently cannot see. We must have an indomitable relationship with something from the inside, so consistent, so reliable. Is there any amount of strength that we will need, whether you are outside touching butterflies, whether you are indoors allowing us to feel the sounds of your indoors, or maybe we are in your headphones? Where are we at right now? Where are we? Where are we? Wherever you are. How do we ensure that we can handle what is coming up over the horizon? Not any precise amount of strength, but is it not also a relationship with this strength? A reliable and consistent relationship with strength. We might not know exactly how much strength we will need, but a reliable relationship indeed is something that we might need. As we might be able to continue growing that strength, we might not be able to have the strength right now, but if we have a reliable connection to a source of strength, could we not improve it so that one day we may be able to handle whatever it is, as we have no clue what is coming over the horizon? What kind of strength will we need? Who the heck knows? But what we do know is that we have a relationship with the strength, in that we will need it, and we will need a reliable source of it from the inside. Why do we need a reliable source why do we need a reliable source of strength from the inside? As we are looking outside, or maybe closing our eyes, whatever we are doing, girls and guys. Why do we need a reliable source of strength? We have no clue what is coming up on the horizon, but we can figure out that we need strength. We have a relationship with strength, that we need strength. How do we get this strength? By getting a better relationship with, ironically, the self. If we are pretending there is a candle in front of everybody's lips that they're trying to not put out, remembering that the tip of our tongues want to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, and that the back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical, up and down, up and down. What is the only one stopping you now? Oh my God, you gotta learn all this information. Oh my God, I gotta put on all this work. Oh my God, I gotta catch up with school. I gotta catch up with the restaurant. I gotta catch up with friends. There's so much stuff to do. But is there really? But is there really so much to do? Is there really so much to do, as we're remembering that the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth? As we stretch away from these different needs that seem to be pulling onto us, as we are able to allow our body to continue functioning with freedom, is there really so much to do? Or is there just what you are doing? Is your life not self-descriptive in and of itself? Is there really so much to do, or is there really just what you are doing? Is the strength not in allowing your body to just do what it needs to do at the current time, as your body cannot be nowhere else but here right now? Is there really so much to do, or is there really just what you are doing? Is there any moment in time, or is there just now? How much energy are you sapping from yourself, from your ability to act in the now, by being unable to flush away spiritual sufferings caused by ideas of other times that do not exist other than the now? If we are remembering that the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored all the way down to the back of the bottom front teeth, no matter what we are doing. No matter what we are doing, the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Now, is the tongue always anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth? Herbie, the tip of my tongue is not anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. You see that? It can come the heck off. You see that? It wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, the same way that a human being wants to be free. Isn't always free, but the same way that a human being wants to be free, the same way a rubber ducky wants to be floating to the top of the surface of the bathtub. The tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. The tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. The back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical, up and down. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And the tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, though it isn't always anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. It wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Why is that significant? Because again, it has a relationship with this position. It has a relationship with this spot. It has a relationship with this spot. The same way that we have a relationship with strength, not in that we have or need a specific amount, but rather we have a relationship with strength in that we know that we want reliable and consistent and preferably inside strength. Why? So that no one can take that away from you, so that you can be strong all the time, because the world will test you. And should you put all your faith in a human being, you put your faith into someone who has needs, which means whether you blame them or not, someone who will infallibly use their own lives to affect their needs. Instead of placing your trust into something on the inside, like simply doing nothing else but placing into your awareness along with me. If you would join me, please, I challenge you today to place into your awareness with me. A candle in front of everybody's lips that they're trying to not put out. Every person. And they're just trying to not put it out. And they're not thinking about inhaling. They're not thinking about exhaling. They're simply trying to not put this candle out as they leave their swallowing muscles alone. And the tip of everyone's tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front of their teeth. Back, bottom front, the back, bottom front teeth. And leave their swallowing muscles alone. And the back 1/3 of their tongue is vertical, up and down, and we'll be right back. Strength. Back. Padawan. feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. Using our self-awareness, stretching our self-awareness like a muscle every morning. Why? To feel better objectively. How is that even freaking possible? With the help of your only no nonsense podcast brought to you through the Best Feeling Network and the help of your only body. The help of your only body, baby, from the inside out. As in affecting your body from the inside out. How? By not really doing much of anything, just stretching our self-awareness, moving our self-awareness a little bit like a muscle. Affecting thy spirit by the inside out, by, if you would join me, in placing into your awareness simply that the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Again, the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front, not the back. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front, not the back. As we are breaking down misconceptions placed into us by society every day. Welcome back, as we are talking about strength. Strength on Freedom Fridays. Today, wherever you are, well, right here and now, you are a star, and it is September 24, 2021. Friday, you are a star. Be free today on Freedom Friday. It is September 24, 2021. You star you. Isn't that a Pokemon? You star you. Strength. To do what exactly? To do what exactly? We identify strength a lot in today's society by the performance, by the look, the appearance of strength. As in, there is a boulder here, a big boulder that everybody's looking at. And somebody's got a big hammer. They have a big hammer. And about to hammer this rock. And the strength of the human being is to break this rock. Boom. This guy goes, ah, bah. We look at the person, we say strength. That's strength. Strength. Big buff guy with a hammer. Bah, strength. Strength. Breaks the rock. Strength. Strength, strength, strength. Rock, 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 rock. Boom. What is the point of strength? What is strength? What is strength? The human being which is able to lift up a hammer and make this motion, this torque of their body, boom, and then hit the rock, or the ability to break the rock. There are many ways to break a rock. Why did we need to look at this person that was swinging the rock, that was swinging the hammer at the rock in the first place? We live in a society right now idolizing the appearance of strength. The appearance of strength as in one way to break the rock. We idolize the way to break the rock, but what did we need done? We wanted the rock to be broken. There are many ways to break a rock. There are many ways to affect the world. What is strength? What is a person? What is a human being? This amazing window to this godlike experience, able to affect the entire world in unseen ways, literally in unseen ways and metaphorically in unseen ways. This human being, when unleashed onto the world, can affect the world in infinite ways. From something as simple as moving and affecting a piece of furniture, from a car to a house, which is not insignificant at all, in that literally this chair was one place and now it is in a completely new place.
And the chair alone. How did the chair get built? Human beings, when human beings are unleashed onto the world, able to totally change, manipulate, and weave reality itself into what they have into their awareness. What is strength? What is a human being? What is a human being if not this amazing mover, not just of the human body, but of the world without the human body? Able to affect the human body in order to affect the entire world, using tools, using intuition, using creativity, problem solving, and most of all, virtue. Why virtue? What the hell is virtue, Herbie? We hear virtue everywhere. What the hell is virtue? What are human beings, if not these creatures, when unleashed onto the world, do amazing things, can affect the entire world? But what are we also? Marred down by needs. Food needs, sex needs, sleep needs, romantic needs, friendship needs, companionship needs, accompaniment needs, relationship needs. But not all needs will get us to somewhere where we want to be, whether that be tomorrow, the next year, the years after that, and we know that. And yet we are faced with these daily needs. What is virtue, Herbie? Well, what are human beings if not these creatures that, when unleashed onto the world, are amazing but are held down by needs? What is virtue, Herbie? Maybe the ability to hold down and concentrate on certain needs. To hunker down on the naturalities of humans, which are the needs, in order to tame thyself, in order to get ourselves to do what we know we want to do for ourselves in the future. What is virtue, Herbie? But what are human beings if not these amazing creatures, when unleashed onto the world, do amazing things and affect different things and move mountains even, but move themselves into dreams, move dreams into other people's lives, move riches around, invent conveniences, invent technology, discover math. Human beings, these amazing creatures that when unleashed, do nothing but wonders for the world, but are also marred down by all these needs. So what is virtue, Herbie? What is virtue if not this ability to tame down these needs in which we know we have, so that we can achieve and move these mountains that we know that we can, and that we know that we want to? And say one of those mountains is your career. Say one of those mountains is a friendship that you have. Say one of those mountains is your reconnection with your family. Say one of those mountains is a romantic relationship. We know that we're going to want to get all those things. What do we need? Strength. Don't we already have all this strength? When we are excited about a video game, when we are excited about a dance, when we are excited about music, when we are excited about seeing our favorite person, when we are excited about putting on our favorite movie, when we are excited about watching our favorite cartoon show, do we not have a different amount of energy that our body allows us to output into it? Doesn't our body give us different permission to continue a strong spirit onto whatever it is, depending on whatever it is? So don't we already have the ability to output strength? Don't we already have the ability to output strength? What is strength? A physical thing? A physical thing? Or rather the ability to affect the world, and what is stopping us from affecting the world if not our internal suffering, in which we must have strength over in order to allow our body the proper energy to do what we want in the world, to move the things that we want in the world, to move the mountains that we want in the world, to attain the riches that we want in the world, to roll on to whatever rhythm that we want into the world. What is strength if not the ability to rid ourselves of all of these internal needs that might be seeming to call our direction, and allow our body to do what we know it really wants to do for true freedom on Freedom Fridays? wherever you are, whenever thou art. Whether you are with your friends or whether you are alone, hearing the beating of your heart. I want to thank you so much for coming through. I want to thank you so much for stretching your self-awareness with me, whether you are alone or whether you are outside with friends in a house that's in a tree. I hope you are remembering to pretend with me that there is a candle in front of not just your lips, but definitely your lips, but not just your lips, but everybody's lips in the world. That they're trying to not put out. And it's just flickering there. And the candle's just flickering there in front of their lips. They're trying to not put it out. They're not thinking about exhaling. They're not thinking about inhaling. There's just a candle that's flickering in front of their lips like this. And they're trying to not put it out. And they're not thinking about exhaling or inhaling, as they remember that the tip of their tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And remember that everybody around you, all of your loved ones, even your enemies, back 1/3 of their tongues are vertical, up and down, up and down. If you would say it with me, up and down, even if it's just in your head. And they're trying to not put this candle out. And into their awareness, the back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical, up and down. Say it with me, up and down, up and down. As you are also remembering that the tip of their tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. As you are leaving your swallowing muscles alone and observing your sense of self at all times. I want to thank you for holding your controller with me properly today in your first podcast in 3D. I want to thank you for holding your controller properly with me in this simulation in which we die every 5 minutes, but that timer is reset with a breath that you take. Feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. It is 6:39 a.m. Thank you guys for making it this far through the show, wherever you are, whenever thou art. We've been having a really great time here on Padawan. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you came from Twitter, whether you are a longtime friend. Appreciate you, Felipe. Scaramph! Felipe says, good to be part of the Treehouse crew, I believe. There are some emotes in there. Modern language. Thank you so much for hanging out, whether you are there right now, like our good friends, participating in the show, keeping us alive every 5 minutes. Or whether you are out there in the future in a VOD, like we are some kind of time capsule, and you are some time bandit. Thank you so much for coming through. We are on Twitter sometimes. We do be talking about some feeling the front of our shins business. So if you want to be up to date on all of the shins business, if you want to be up to date on the candle holding, please join us on Twitter. We'd really appreciate all the support on Instagram as well as TikTok. Please keep them coming. They do not go unnoticed. Even the ridiculous comments, like even the WTFs, like we love that. It's just any kind of, let's get this conversation out there. It's so funny. So I appreciate all you guys. We'll talk soon. Please hold that candle in front of everybody's lips that they're trying to not put out. Remember that the tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Please give us a like, share, and or subscribe on YouTube, DLive, Twitch, TikTok, all the good stuff, everywhere you are, whenever thou art. It really does help us a lot. All the feedback is of great help. Feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. Stretching our self-awareness like a muscle every morning. allowing all of these words to go in one ear and out the other. Your only no-nonsense podcast brought to you through the Best Feeling Network, baby. My name is Herbie. Good morning, everyone. Hope you have a freaking fantastic day. This is absolutely how go on. Strength. Free yourself today. Strength. Free yourself today. Strength. Free yourself today. Strength. Free yourself today. Strength. Free yourself today.